So we are here to talk about the spiritual awakening. And so Brandaleen is an amazing helper in that field, and she teaches a bunch of people about how to awaken their spiritualness. I feel like I'm saying this kind of weird, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and say a little bit more about that as well, about like what you do, who you help, and what you do for them.
Awesome. So, my name is Brandaleen Johnson, and I help people awaken to their spiritual gifts so they can align into their soul's purpose and ignite their life.
No way. That is just so cool. You know, it's funny because once I talked to you, I swear so many weird things have started happening. Like not weird in the bad sense, like weird in the good sense. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to like remember these things that I used to do when I was younger, like being able to predict certain numbers people were gonna say to me, or that was like the weirdest one where you get to predict like other numbers or predictions of things that would happen in the future. And I just knew that they were going to happen right now. And so that's just like a really cool thing that started happening again once I started talking to you. So um, when it comes to all this stuff, like what kind of got you started into helping people? Like, how did this even come upon? Like, you know?
Right? Like this is like my favorite story and my favorite subject because it was so life-changing and so reality changing for me. Like I was always like a mystical person. I was always really into like I'd be the first person in line to get like their tarot cards read or like go to like mystical places. Um, but I never thought I had this gift, and it wasn't until I moved across the country from Las Vegas to Traverse City, Michigan, did I start feeling these weird things. And then I started doing Reiki professionally, which is like a hands-on healing. So I'd been a Reiki master for probably 18 years at that point. But when I started getting my hands on people, I started thinking that I was like imagining things about their life. And then I started finding out that it was it wasn't just my imagination. These things were really happening in these people's lives. And I trained under another medium. Her name's Sarah Newton Limos. She's amazing. She does like ghost tours and stuff. And I saw a post on Facebook saying, do you want to meet your spirit guides? I was like, hell yeah, that sounds cool, right? So, but the weirdest thing, I went through this massive transformation of not only did I meet these invisible guides, they've been showing me signs my whole life, but I was able to see behind closed doors. I was able to uh, like just do these crazy things, and it's developed to this point where we all have something different. Like you're saying, you could
Kind of froze on me for a second. I don't know if it's going to come back. Let's make sure that this is working. It has stopped working, but I don't know if she. Can you make a comment if you guys can still hear me? Um, so that I can know if somebody can.
I'm back.
I'm
I'm back from the dead. No, my phone rang, dang it, and it
Oh my!
knocked me off. So where was I leaving off?
You said you were starting to see spiritual guides, and you were doing like the Reiki and all of those things.
Yeah,
And
so
this,
after
yeah, it was like actually really happening. Like you thought that it wasn't real, and then it started actually really being like, oh no, this is a real thing.
exactly. And so what happened once I developed into this, I came into this full knowing of what my purpose was.
Oh,
This was so life altering and so reality altering. Once I realized I wasn't crazy, I wasn't making this stuff up, and then I absolutely had this gift. Then I was like, if this happened to me through going through these exercises and going through this, then it can happen to everybody. And so it just became my mission to help people develop into their gifts, not necessarily so they could be the next Long Island medium, which everybody
so
absolutely can,
like, I love that show.
right?
Yeah.
They absolutely can. But what I found is that people going through this process found so much more meaning in their life and were able to apply these gifts to what it is that they already had desire for.
So I know that you manifested a mansion into your life.
Yeah, the $1 million house.
I know. So was that kind of like around the same time when you were like learning about that stuff, or did you like manifest this house just on intuition and then started getting into it even more? What was going on through that period? Like, how did you freaking manifest like a mansion? Like that kind of blows my mind. Like, I'm like,
So I'm glad you asked
what?
that. So, like I said, I was always this mystical person. So I already knew a little bit about like the law of attraction. I hadn't
Yeah,
read The Secret, or I didn't really dive into it. So
yeah,
the $1 million house, basically, and you can see like my dream board behind me.
yeah.
So basically, with the $1 million house, my my grandmother was starting to suffer from like extended Alzheimer's disease. And so we knew
Oh,
that at some point we were going to have to kind of live together. So I don't even know, I don't even remember how we saw this house, but we asked a real estate agent to take us in there. And we were like, it's perfect because one side had a mother-in-law's quarters. It had its own bed, own living room, its own kitchen, and it was an awesome ass place. Its own bathroom, own walk-in closet, own bedroom, and it's separated from the rest of the house. Then the other side of the house had like 3 more bedrooms, a beautiful pool. It was like humongous house. We're like, this will be perfect for us to all live together to take care of my grandma. And so it was like $999,000 they were asking for. And so we got all together and we're like, well, if we all sold our houses, if we got my grandma to sell her house, if I sold my house, if my mom sold her house, maybe we could buy this house. But still, the market wasn't like that. There was no way. We were not even close to being able to spend $1 million. And I joke because like I was on a beer budget, but I had $1 million dream, right? And
right.
so somebody bought the house, and I was devastated because I was like, this is our house. And my husband was like, our cars are too janky to be having $1 million house anyway, which I didn't care because the car takes
I'm
you from place to
I
place.
want that house.
But so I was sad that somebody had bought the house, but I took the picture that their real estate agent gave, was on the printout for the house, and I put it on the side of my refrigerator, and I wrote, this house belongs to, and I put my name, my husband's name, my daughter's name, my grandma's name, and my mom's name. And
No way.
I called it our house. Like I just knew this was going to be our house. I didn't have $1 million. You know what I mean? So it was on the side of my refrigerator literally for 3 years. We
Wow.
drove by our house often, and we saw the people that bought the house, and I was happy for them. And my husband and I had just bought a different house, these 3 years later, just like a mile or two down the road from this $1 million house. And then my mom called me and she goes, you're never going to believe I drove by our house and all the shrubs are dead. She's like, I think it foreclosed. And sure enough, it foreclosed on the people that have bought it for the $1 million. But
Oh,
the
that's kind of sad.
interesting thing is, what?
I was like, oh, that's kind of sad, but it's still like crazy
I
coincidence.
know, right? I felt bad for the people, but so
It's funny.
interestingly enough, because it was such a custom home, there was no other homes around the area that were like that. There wasn't anything comparable. And I worked in commercial real estate for 15 years. So anybody that's in real estate knows that it has to have comparables in order to say that it's this valued at this much.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom, and then this is 3 years later, so my grandma was really needing help, and she ended up getting it for less than 500,000.
What?
Uh-huh.
No
400 and
way.
something thousand. Yeah. And so then my grandma ended up moving in, and then she broke her hip and she absolutely needed help. So we like all moved in together and we lived there for 3 years together.
This is like blows my mind sometimes. Can you believe it's like that house, like the house, your house?
Yeah,
This was
the
just
actual house. But here's the even more interesting thing is over those 3 years, my husband and I both got rid of our cars, and we both ended up with like whatever. We got like baby Infinities, right? They were new to us, Infinities. But my husband, that was my husband said. He said, we can't live there unless we have at least an Infinity. And I thought, I just realized this a couple days ago. I was like, we even manifested the type of car that he wanted to have parked in that garage.
nuts.
So to me, like energy is energy is energy. And going through this
Yeah.
process, like half the time I sound like a crazy lady because of all the experiences that I've had through going through this awakening. Like you're saying, you have these predictions where you just know something's going to happen, and that's like your gift.
Yeah. hmm It's really weird, yeah. Like you said, sometimes you end up looking, but see, like it usually is within a good frame of time. So like I'll tell somebody something like, "Hey, I just want you to know within the next month, like I'm just sensing that like something really good's gonna happen to you." And like I'll kind of give a little bit more detail if it's like the person and kind of like tell them what's going on. But yeah, and it will happen like within that time. Like it'll be exactly how I've said it was gonna be. And like it just blows my mind. Or the other thing where I'm really, really good at like sensing energy, like other people's energies and like how they are and stuff like that. So I can kind of just like look at a picture and be like, I know a lot about this person just from their picture. And so I think those things like really help me in a lot of ways. Like I've always been very understanding of other people and being able to like reach deeper and understand what's going on behind the walls of, you know, that they put up inside so that you don't get to see that. But like I can see through that, and it just makes everything so much more freely. And when you get in touch with that energy where you're just like, yeah, like this is just kind of my gift, it just enhances it too once you understand that too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's an amazing gift. Like I say, everybody develops a different way. So for me, 100%, I can see people's life purpose imprinted on them. Like I know why you're here. You know what I mean? Or at least what
Yeah.
industry you need to be in. Not, and it's not that spirit is like you have to do this. It's just imprinted on you. It's imprinted on you. Like, so I'm
Yeah.
clairvoyant. So like you said, as soon as I see a picture, I could see their relative. And so the other thing I'm exceptionally good at, which is strange because I've been with my husband for 18 years. So you would think that, I don't know, but I guess because I'm clairvoyant, I could see the person's mate. Like I could see what they look like, the personality they are, and that's like you say the time frame. So usually they'll find their mate in 6 months, within 6 months. Now now I have this disclaimer on that because you have to be ready.
Yeah.
Some people are broken and they need to do their self work, but I always just bring that up when I
Yeah.
talk to them. But yeah, being able to see see their people, that
Whoa.
their mate, their lover.
That's interesting. I know so many
Yeah.
people that kind of want to know that. Like, I feel like relationships and dating, a lot of times people are like, how do I know this is the right guy or the right person? And I don't know, I feel like it's energy, like you said. It's just like that feeling that goes within of like, who is this person and everything like that. And like, when are they going to come into my life? And a lot of self work too. Like, when you meet somebody like that, you kind of have to be like, I'm ready for a serious relationship. You know, I'm ready for a serious partnership, whether it's relationship romantically or business relationship too. You know, it's got to be like you're ready for those things to happen.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
spirit, like I call, when I say spirit, I mean like spirit guides, angels, past loved ones, higher beings, light beings. I call it all spirit because a lot of times I don't know who's telling me this stuff. I just
Yeah.
know it. It just comes in. Um, so I, I believe that everybody needs to develop into this because it's your innate gift. you
Mhm.
know it's exactly, some of the people that's gone through my process of awakening through my intuition and mediumship development classes have just completely found more fulfillment in their life, and so I feel that you need those muscles. Sorry, my phone, I don't want
Okay.
it to go dead.
I was just reading your
So
Facebook. Look. I'll send you some cool ones.
so
You gotta try, but
so
um,
yeah, so if people are watching and they have questions about it,
yeah. If
you
anybody
know
has questions, feel free to drop them below. We're more than happy to answer anything about that. I also like have some questions. So my friend does, and I told him I would tag him in this because he can't watch it right now, but he talks to a spiritual medium, and like she talks a lot about like the sun or moon rising, certain things like when you happens between your like 28 to 30s when you kind of have you heard of that stuff?
So is she more into astrology then?
It is astrology stuff. So he's like he talks a lot about astrology and like how astrology kind of like you can understand what's going to happen in your life through your astrology and your horoscopes. Like super into horoscope stuff as well too. Like what's your opinion when it comes to horoscopes and astrology and like what the stars mean and what time you were born and how that kind of integrates in your life? Or like do you kind of go into that stuff as well?
I love that you asked that question because I was just talking about, so I read energy
Yeah.
and I'm friends with lots of people that read astrology, right?
Really?
Um, so you get to the same answers. It's just a different tool, right? But
Oh, wow.
something else this is something that blows my mind, right? So astrologers can tell you where planet Earth and where the sun is going to be in 20,000 years from now, right? Like what alignment it's going to be in. And so literally this is something that blows my mind. I'm telling you. So I believe that you are actually a planet and you are actually going through the movements so an astrologer can tap into your planet, the planet, and tell
Yeah.
you where you will be throughout your life.
You know what's crazy? So, I don't know, like that just totally triggered the fact that like our brains look a lot like the universe. Like if you say, Alex, there you are. I was just talking to you. So Alex is on now. So, ha, I found you. Anyways, yeah. So I was watching this thing where our brains look a lot like the universe, actually, where like if you take a picture of a nebula and then you look at like neurons and how they fire, it actually looks like a nebula, which is in the sky somewhere. So I thought that was like really
Oh
interesting.
yeah. Yeah. So like your brain, even a cell in your body
Yeah.
will reflect what like something looks like out in the universe. As within, so without. The deeper you explore spirituality, the deeper it goes and the crazier you sound to normal humans, really.
I know.
There's a meme out there that says spiritual awakening means that 99% of your conversations are trying to sound like a normal person.
I know, right? It's like, well, anyways, I felt that actually yesterday when we were talking, so I knew that you were going to say that. And you're like, wait, no, that's not normal. Let me go back. That's cool. It's good to know. Yeah, I feel like the spiritualness and getting deeper into that is really interesting. So with that though, that idea of like the nebula and like our mind looking like that, somebody told me their theory was the fact that like you said we're all our own like universes. Like what if we have like universes within our own mind? Like there's actually people because it looks like another outer space, right? And then take it to like a macro level. That was taking it to a micro level. So if you take it to a macro level, like what if we are all just like little things within a bigger person's mind, and like that's how we connect ourselves into one. But I like a weird
I
thought.
love that you're No, I love it that you're thinking that because when we start talking about meditation and we start talking about where do your thoughts come from, they're not even made by you, you know? They're synapses based on a previous experience. But also, why do thoughts just pop into your head? Who's telling you those thoughts? You are being influenced by spirit constantly. Your spirit guide could be whispering to you. It could be, depending on your vibration level, it could be a past loved one. And you think those are your thoughts because the normal human doesn't wonder where their thoughts come from. But when you start going into this, and of course, and I was reading a book about the Palladians, which is like an alien race, right? And you go into all the alien stuff. And the one person was channeling some sort of alien, and the alien said, just like you can tap into somebody else's energy and tell them what their life is like or their life purpose, the alien lady, whatever, I don't know if it's true or not because I've just read it in a book, but the alien lady says, I could check in on any one of you to see what you're up to and what your frequency is. And that's why we have come forth to try to help you raise your vibrations, because we can see the probabilities of where you're going as a race. So
Interesting.
it's deep. I mean, and you have to choose what resonates with you and keep it, or if it just sounds completely whack and it's not acceptable to your human experiences at that time, then let it go.
Right. Like, that's one thing when it comes to spirituality. Like, I believe everybody has the right to just have a free thought. And I mean, nothing I say is like has to be law for them. Nothing they say has to be law for me. It's kind of just like a very accepting feeling towards like whether somebody believes one way or the other. It's just kind of interesting to hear all different perspectives, kind of.
Yeah, you have to take what resonates with you, you know, and then maybe 5 years from now, something crazy will resonate. Crazier will resonate with you, you know?
How do you raise your vibrations? Like, say, like, just say, I know that retrograde, is it still happening? Is retrograde still happening right now? Or, okay, yeah. So how do you your vibration? What if you're just feeling like crap, you know, and you're just like, okay, how do I feed my spirit, kind of, and just raise your vibrations throughout the day? How do you do that?
Well, like the first thing I would say is you really got to be present with yourself to ask yourself, like, how am I actually feeling right now? Am I depressed or am I happy? And being able to sit with it and feel how you actually feel, right? And so then obviously, like, you feel great when you've been dancing and singing and, you know, being in nature. These are all things that change your frequency. So when you are feeling good, that means your vibration is up. And when you are feeling down, then your vibration is down. So like people that are struggling with, you know, addiction and stuff like that, their vibration is really, really down. And depending on where your frequency is what you're going to attract. Like attracts like. So if your vibrations is really high, you're going to have more aha moments from like angels and guides. When you're really depressed, you're going to start having like lower level thoughts and those types of things. So raising your vibration has all to do with, you know, movement. Obviously you do movement, you know what I mean? And you know that you do exercise, so you know how you feel after your endorphins have kicked in and stuff, and it's all frequency.
Right. Totally. I 100% believe that as well. It's like just moving around, dancing. Like, I love to dance. And it was so funny. You know what? Today I was at the gym and there was this guy dancing next to me. Like, totally balls out, just dancing. Like, he was going nuts. He was on the floor, getting up, going like all over. And I was like, dude, this guy's so into it. Everybody was like kind of looking at him like, oh my God. Like, I for real think that there's a video on Instagram somewhere talking about like gym weirdos or something like that, and he's in it. Like, but I really wanted to just like go and dance with him because it feels good, and I just love that like people are free to kind of do that. They just don't give it like a care about what other people think, and it makes you feel good. And so many people just kind of freak out when they see others like acting in joy and just dancing. Like, it's almost really weird for us to kind of see each other where we're like, dude, that person is so free, and it just blows your mind. And so I think that like spiritual awakening and everything like that brings you closer to just like who you really are, like who you want to be, and without the fear and judgment of all these other things, you're just like flowing.
100% what you just said is it absolutely brings you to who you are, because I'm telling you what, like, a massive majority of the people that maybe are watching this, they're trying to fit inside some sort of box that they feel that they're supposed to be. And I think that that's part of like, it's the positive side, but that's the hard part of spiritual awakening, is being able to go, this is how I feel, this is who I want to be, and I'm going to do that regardless of what society says or what my friends say or my family, you know? So it's peeling off the layers of illusion and of programming.
Yeah, that's hard to do. That kind of sucks sometimes because you're like, oh my gosh. And you realize how much you were held back in the past. And like, you realize the truth about how you feel and like why you act a certain way, why you don't act a certain way, and stuff like that. And so it's interesting to go through that process because it's becoming super, super vulnerable with yourself. And like, I know a lot of guys are watching right now and like have came in and out and everything. And so I think that for men especially, it's like hard because it comes more naturally for women than it does for men sometimes. Like, you know, how that goes.
What are you saying about the men?
Yeah, like I feel like it's easier for women to be more vulnerable sometimes.
Yeah, I think more and more and more and more and more men are
Oh,
becoming more sensitive, you
yeah.
know?
It's not a bad
Um,
thing. It's a good thing.
no, it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
For them to be able to be in touch with who they are. That's why they say like the feminine is coming back, but doesn't mean that everybody's gonna be a woman. It just means men are gonna be more in touch with their emotions. Because
Yeah.
men has always been more logical, and women have always been more, emotion. And if you've
Yeah.
noticed, like a lot of like the kids coming in, like some of the like the autistic children that are born naturally autistic, not like chemical affected, but
Right.
they're more in touch with their emotion than they are with their logic. It's like, which side of the brain are you operating on? And we're going over to the emotion side. And
That's
I truly believe that's the part of the spiritual awakening is people are starting to feel instead of just knowing and following a rule.
yeah. It's so interesting. I actually used to work with autistic children. I used to what is that called? It's not charity work. What is that when you just like I don't know, you work in a place. I don't know. So I used to work for free in like an autistic school for a couple of years, just like helping out with the students that needed extra care and they didn't have enough staff and everything like that. So I just volunteer. I volunteered over there, and it was interesting to see those kids because like you said, like they're really in touch with themselves. Like they're so freaking smart. Like one kid knew like 6 different languages. He was like 7 years old. He's freaking smart, and the other kid was just an amazing genius at science. But they are so focused. Like they have like ridiculous amounts of focus and ridiculous amounts of unfocusedness. And so, but their focus is just like unparalleled compared to other children, where you're just like, this kid is a serious genius, but he has absolutely no skill in this place or that place. And so, almost like spiritualness, and especially for them, is like figuring out your purpose. Like you said, like it's all tying back together, saying like their purpose was just blatant right there in front of them. They never had to really choose because that was just the way that their mind works. And then for us, they have just a very big array of things. Sometimes, like connecting to spirit allows us to become our super geniuses by being able to focus even more. Is that kind of like, did I kind of went on a tangent, but is that kind of like what you're saying?
Yeah, that they're just allowing themselves to be themselves without judgment. They're not trying to fit inside of a box.
Yeah.
That's something I always say is most
Yeah.
people are trying to fit inside of a box that society told them, if you don't fit inside this box, then something's wrong with you. And I think when we start going through that spiritual awakening, at least us, the people that are in the logic, that we feel like we're breaking the rules. We feel like we're doing something we're not supposed to do. And so it comes along with a lot of um, self work that you have to do to allow yourself to be who you are. Whereas those autistic children, they are just naturally allowing themselves to be who they are.
Mhm. So then when it comes to like doing a reading for yourself, like say somebody hopped on and was like, okay, how can I start doing a reading for myself, knowing my spiritualness? Like, how do I become a better spiritual leader myself or understand what skills that I have within that world? Like, how can somebody just start getting those things if they have like some secret superpower that they just don't know in the spirit world? Like, how can they figure that out? Or how can they find their spirit animals? Like, that's a cool kind of answer. So.
You asked a lot of questions right there. So there's different. We all okay. So I love that you're in fitness because I your intuition is a muscle, just like your arms and your legs, right? You have right now you have both you have arms and legs, right? So you have all the gifts inside of you, but your legs might be stronger than your arms or vice versa right now. So being able to find out which gift you have is basically, do you see, do you hear, do you feel, or do you know? Like, do you just know it, or do you like imagine it, or do you like hear things? So I actually I'll drop a link in the bottom of these comments because I actually have like a quiz for people to take to find out which superpower is stronger.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, you will end up with all of the muscles, right? You will
Yeah.
end up with you will be able to see, hear, feel, and know. But like for me, seeing is like my strongest gift, and then feeling And then hearing was like the last thing for me to develop, which is actually hearing actual voices, like, you know,
Yeah.
but, and it sounds crazy, but there's more people than not that will be like, oh my God, I do hear people calling my name and then nobody's there, like, especially at the grocery store, you
That's
know?
so creepy. Can you imagine that, going to a grocery store and being like, hi, talking to
Yeah,
somebody
oh, it
random?
happens to more people than you would believe. And when they're hearing their voice being called, it's because they have like their, I call it their mediumship light on. So the, you know, dead people are at the grocery store with their loved ones, right? And then they see you
Yeah.
walk in the grocery store and they're like, oh my God, I see she's got the light on and I'm going to come bombard her. And that's why a lot of people struggle with social anxiety, because they have their mediumship light on. They just don't know that they have their mediumship light on.
Holy,
So they get
that's crazy.
bombarded from all these dead people. And the way I like to explain it in my classes and in some of my videos is like, if I come into your personal space and I'm standing in your face, you're going to feel me and you're going to say, step away, lady, you're in my space. But if I'm invisible because I'm a dead person, you're still going to feel that something's wrong, but you're going to go into anxiety mode because you don't see anybody there. You don't understand why you're feeling that way.
That freaking blew my mind. That was
I
pretty
know.
nuts. Yeah. How can you tell them to like, how can you get out of social anxiety then? Like, what if you have like anxiety when you go out there and then, but you don't, like for me, I personally don't have that. Like, I am like, I've been in the spirit world since I was very, very young. And so I'm really, really used to it. It's like, it doesn't really scare me that much. But my sister has like crazy anxiety, and I just know that so many other people have like serious anxiety problems, and she's also like very spiritual as well. And so, like, how do you kind of turn that off so that you can go out and not deal with like feeling like you're crowded?
Yeah, so I like to tell people to go through the awakening process to develop into their gifts, because then it gives you more control over it. But like for a quick fix, I would say that you definitely, before you go into the large crowded public place, to ask your angels and guides to be around you. Make a note, like tell, like say in your head, like, I'm here to do grocery shopping. I'm in and I'm out, and I'm not here to talk to dead people. Stay away from me. So you can make
Wow.
like just a statement, because like and I know I call them dead people and that might be like kind of rude. Like some people are like, those are my loved ones. But so past loved ones, they have to follow your rules. You know, like we are one. We all have that spark of divine in us. And so if they know, because they know, don't call my name, because I will freak
Yeah.
out. Like my name is so unique, Brandaleen. Like if I heard
Yeah.
somebody call my name, then I know it's like a dead person. I'd be like, so, I mean, I'm not scared of them, but that's just still would freak me out to this day. Like, don't call my name. Like, don't
Yeah.
be like calling my name. Because it just makes it that much more real, I think. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But so they know not to do that with me. But so that's what I would say is call your angels and your guides before you go in. Make a statement that I'm in and out and I don't want to be bothered. Don't bother me. But also like shield yourself. I imagine I'm in an egg sometimes and like only my
Yeah.
arms and legs could get out. Sometimes I put my sunglasses on in the grocery
Yeah.
store just because it's like maybe they can't see me. So you'll notice a difference though, you know?
Yeah. I agree. I actually used to do something really similar. Like I would imagine I was in like a little white ball and I had angel wings around me and I would just meditate for like a couple of minutes and focus on the fact that like I didn't want anything negative to come into my space or anything like that. And so that's how it would help me a lot. Um, oh shoot, I had a good question. Yeah, no, I totally agree though. I think that like having that sphere around you and just like asking yourself, asking people to like not be around when you don't need them around is important. And I didn't ever think about that, but now I'm gonna totally recommend that to people when they have social anxiety. What about like okay, so I know a lot of people don't want to go into this because they're afraid of if they open up a door, like anything can come in, right? So like they're afraid of the negative energy and they're afraid of like negative spirits and I mean of course we've all seen like the poltergeist movies and stuff like that. So like do you think that that stuff is real, A, like the poltergeist movies, exorcisms, all that stuff, and being taken over by like evil spirits or like having an evil spirit follow you? And how do you protect yourself from that if that is something for you?
I think that's an awesome question. So I actually had somebody message me freaking out one time, and she said that her washing machine stopped for no reason, and that
I creeped out.
she was freaking out, and she was
I was,
like, "Oh my God, I'm so scared that I'm gonna get possessed," she said. And I
yeah,
I had to laugh at her only because I know what I know. But I was like, "Girlfriend, a lot of things has to do with your vibration and your frequency, okay? So you're not going to have some like evil monster following you around if you are a high vibration person. Can it happen? Yeah, it can happen, but generally speaking, like attracts like. So now if you're a complete drug addict and you have mood swings and you're bipolar and you're allowing spirit to influence you and you take action based on them saying smack your wife and then you do, then you have something, you know, there. Or if they, sometimes people, you know, like I'll get company, I call it company, unwanted company, but going through the like the awakening process, generally speaking, your spirit guides and angels are going to be there to protect you from things like that. You're not going to put yourself in a position to go into any really dark environment because you already know. You go, everybody watching this can probably think of somebody in their life that they're like, oh, I do not even want to be near them. Like, I just feel creeped out when I'm near them, because that's your intuition saying that's not such a good person. I don't want to be near them, because not only are you near them, you're near all of their unwanted company, right?
yeah.
So there's something that I teach my students in my classes, and it's about creating boundaries and making rules for these things not to happen. It's a little bit of a process, but generally speaking, you're the boss of your human experience. You just need to realize that.
Dude, that is such a cool quote. Like, I'm gonna strip that quote and put it somewhere when we put this out again because, like, that's so true. Like, you just kind of have to realize, like, you're the boss, and boss man makes the decisions.
That's right.
Boss woman,
And the
boss
more
woman.
you, yeah, that's right. And the more you
Yeah.
know that, the more they know that you know that. And so they'll generally leave you alone because, like my husband, he's super empathetic. He's super soft and sweet. And he'll be like, babe, something doesn't feel right. And I just don't like it. And I'm like, if I was a ghost and I wanted to haunt somebody, I would haunt you because you're so easy. Like, you're scared about it. And I'm over here like, oh, no, you didn't.
That's
You know
like
what I
such
mean?
love right there. That's funny.
It
I
is.
would hide you. I feel like if you passed away before he did though, like for real, you're gonna come back and haunt him. I could just imagine.
So
He's never gonna be alone. Isn't that a great
you are
thought?
never alone. You are never alone. You're never alone.
Yeah.
Your loved ones are with you always.
Mhm. Say okay, so say like somebody passes away that like you like a parent or somebody that you want to connect to again. Like, do you think that you can connect to them, and like how can you connect to them or hear things from them? Because I have a gift where I can kind of do that thing, right? Like when my great grandmother passed away, I knew what happened, and I can feel when somebody's really gone and when somebody's just like sort of around still. And when my great grandmother passed away, we visited her in the hospital, and she was still there for a second, and she was just like, she told me a secret that I was supposed to tell my mother. And it, like, my mom was shocked. She was floored because she's like, I've never told anybody that. Like, I couldn't believe it. And it was also along with a message and a lesson that, like, you should, don't feel bad. And, like, we didn't understand that until a couple weeks later, where my mom started to feel, like, bad about, oh, maybe I should have taken care of her more and everything. And I was like, this is what great grandma told me. She says, don't feel bad. Like, everything's fine. I appreciate you, kind of thing. And so when she passed away, she came back, she said that message, she like said I love you to everybody, told me what to tell my mother, and then gave me that recommendation of what I should do if that case happened. And then she was really gone. Like, she didn't stay. She was gone. She's like, I'm gonna just pass on. How can other people that maybe like want to reach out to their family members, or what if it's like a best friend or an ex-lover or something like that, like how can they reach out to them again to get those final like resting moments? And like, is that possible, or do you think that some people are just gone, they're gone?
They're so generally speaking, like the scenario that you told me is like more like your grandma hung around because she really wanted to get that message to you, and then
Yeah.
she feels like she's gone because she really is like kind of crossed over or whatever, but you still have that ability to call upon her. The minute you start thinking of them and speaking their name, their essence is like bam, it's right there. So my advice for people, like if they're wanting to connect with their loved ones, to like, you know, light a candle, like be present in this moment, ask for your guides and angels to be there with you, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, so that you and ask for your loved ones, guides and angels to be there with you too, because the more people you have talking to you or being able to build this bridge between the spirit world and yours, the stronger that communication is going to be. But so I would just say, ask, you know, ask people, ask them to come to you and ask them a question. They're
Interesting.
always going to whisper to you, you know what I mean? Or ask them to leave you a sign and just be really, really present. Like, I talk to my grandma a lot. I'm close with my grandma. And so, I can feel her stronger in certain times, like when I'm thinking about specifically cooking or money, because those were like her strengths. And so she will whisper to me, or I'll have this weird idea and I'll be like, I would never think to use wax paper. What the hell? And then I like look it up and I'm like, I should have used wax paper. And it's so
Oh,
weird, but it's like, that's them. They're always going to be there. And you might think that it's your thoughts, but if it sounds like it's something they would say, it generally is them.
yeah. So then, how about like for people that are living actually? Like, I feel like when, like, I have certain connections, right, where you're just like, even if this person isn't dead, like they're alive. I know they're alive, but I feel like I have a connection with them. Like I can just feel them, and you know, just have like those certain feelings. Like, how about can you go visit people like that? Like for me, I personally believe like you can visit other people, just like through a connection, like a super super deep connection. Like how can you build that with people, or like understand that a little bit more and try to control that a little bit more, even like being able to like reach out to somebody when you just want to reach out to them and just send them a little message.
Yeah, I love that you say that. So, generally speaking, when somebody comes to me for a reading, I actually start vibrating at their frequency. If you could, like when you're connected to somebody, you could instantly be connected to their frequency and like be sending them a message, and they will more than likely be thinking about you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
The other
yeah.
interesting thing that happens a lot, which I think is really cool, and I didn't know what was going on when it first started happening, but then, and that's the thing too with the spiritual development and awakening. A lot of
Yeah.
it's self-discovery because you're like, why did that happen? And then you put two and two together, and you're like, oh my gosh. So
Right.
sometimes alive people will show up in a reading as a dead person for me. And so I'll be like, oh, I see a man. He looks like this, and he has this message for you. And they're like, that's my dad, but he's alive. But when that happens, it's because the higher self of the dad has a message for you that he wouldn't be able to tell you as his human self. Like it's usually something that you need to know that they really love you, and maybe he couldn't say that to you as his
Uh,
human self.
yeah. That actually makes a lot of sense.
So
Like,
you absolutely can visit people. Like just thinking about somebody brings you into their space. And in my intuition and mediumship development classes, I talk about that because how else could you look at a picture and see inside somebody's life, or look at a picture of a doorway and tell me what happens behind that doorway? You're connecting to the energy and the frequency, and when you learn to connect with the frequency and the energy, for me, with somebody, I will vibrate exactly at your level. And then I'm able to look around. I'm able to know what you should do for a living, what your lover should be like, a perfect mate, what your family looks like. And if you ask me a specific question about your life, I'll be able to tell you what would be best in alignment for your frequency.
so, big question here. What is my lover gonna look like? If you had to read what my lover is going to be, or where I should be, have at it. Now I'm curious. You like totally
Your
put my
lover?
brain. I'm like, all right,
I
yeah,
thought you had a lover.
huh? But if
I
like
thought
if
you
you
already had a lover.
like, what do you see when you look into my love life? Tell me your secret.
You're so Well, you know, I do see another man associated with you besides the man that I seen in your pictures.
Mhm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean he's your lover. I feel like he almost looks like he's got a beard and a mustache. Almost feel like he almost looks like who's that guy that's always like he's like the strongest man ever and everybody's always joking.
Oh, I don't know. You said
I can't think
strongest
of his
man
name.
ever. It was the Hulk.
He almost well anyway he's like a white male and I feel like it's brown but it's kind of ginger this beard and he's got thick hair on the top, really thick hair on the top.
Oh yeah.
I can't think of the guy's name now. I'm gonna have to think of it because he's a famous guy, the guy that he looks like.
Do you guys know who she's talking about? What is he? He's like Eddie Hall.
Is that a famous person?
Alex, Alex knows like people that are underground famous even. I don't know.
No, I can't think of like people always joke like he's so strong he could bite nails. He's so like my husband would be like, oh, I know who you're talking about.
Like the super famous guy that's like Chuck Norris or something like that.
Chuck Norris, like Chuck Norris.
I got this. Woo. Play this game again. I got
it. Would look like that. Like it's not Chuck Norris, but it almost would look like that.
Okay.
Do you know somebody that looks like that?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, nothing. I was just jokes. So Chuck Norris is another man in my life right now.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I was like, oh no, I was saying, is that what you're reading?
Right?
Okay.
It could just be somebody connected to you. But like I would like if you're asking me if your guy's the right one, I would like to see like his picture. I work a lot off of pictures because then I could be like, oh. Like today I did a reading and this mom, she came and she showed me her daughter and her boyfriend and she's like, are they going to get married? And I'm like, well, I'm glad that you're the one asking me and not them because that's the thing too is like, I don't want to influence people's relationships, but I could clearly see that the guy is manipulative. And I was like, no. You know what I mean?
Oh, crazy. You know, when I was in high school, I was dating somebody. I dated for somebody for 4 years, right? And my friend, his mother was like she was like a psychic as well. She was super into that world, and she had seen a picture of him. Honestly, I think she just wanted me to date her son happily. But the other side was she's like, you guys aren't going to be together. And she also told me a couple of things that did happen in my relationship before we ended. And I was like, bullshit, like I'm gonna stay with this guy. I've been with him for 3 years now, like he's my high school sweetheart and everything, but turns out like we didn't actually, obviously I'm not with him anymore, but yeah, it was just really interesting because it was like she just looked at the picture just like what she said, and then she gave me some things that she said was gonna happen, and she's like, you guys are not gonna end up being together. And so it was really interesting because I do feel like pictures hold presence over something. It's like you take a little bit of the energy when you take a picture.
Yes.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
Taking energy right now from being like on camera, it's crazy. I'm like, feeding energy as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like your life purpose will be like photography. I could see photography in there for you.
For me? That's so funny. Alex was looking up something about like our horoscopes, and it was like, you guys are going to be like really connected on photography or something like that. And I was like, that's nuts because I don't even do like photography. Like, I'm not good at it. All right. I mean, like, I am an excellent selfie taker, but anything past that, I'm like.
So, but I can see photography, but I also see like, that leadership and the coaching and the just really helping people. And like spirit would say for you to realize what you're worth. Like you're worth a lot more than I think that you think you're worth, or you're making a way bigger impact than you realize. And not to be snobby. Like, I feel like, here's what else I feel. I feel like you think, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be snobby, or I don't want to come across as something that I'm not, so you're holding yourself back a little bit.
Mm.
So just find that humble part of you and just, I don't know, adjust certain things, because I see that. Yeah.
I will definitely take that and put that into my spirit diary and put that out.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm so glad we got to connect on here. My favorite subject in the whole world.
I know, right? If anybody wants a spiritual reading too, you do offer like that. I've seen you post that every once in a while where you do a little bit of a reading.
Yeah. So, I love to do readings, right? So, my website's brandaleen.com, my first name.com. And but one thing I like to say too is, like, giving you a reading is helping you get back in alignment with your soul's path, right? That's what I always say. Spirit helps me help you be in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing and having this happy, wonderful life. But a lot of times, then you go out the door and you think there's this quick fix, but there's not. So that's where my coaching comes in. So it's like, let's do a reading, and then, yay, great if you want to go off on your own. But hey, if you want to actually have a mentor to help you get there. So that's why, like, doing spiritual coaching and spiritual readings and spiritual development is so passionate for me, because I get to see, like, this huge wave of people go through my program and be able to have this crazy magical gift to help massive other people, or to even go on to teach intuition and mediumship development, because in my heart of hearts, that is what I'm here to do, is help awaken the masses through helping them awaken through these illusions. Once you realize you can talk to invisible people, you realize that you're not just here to pay bills until you die. And that is my huge message.
Yes, I love that. That was so awesome. You did not disappoint today, girl. You are so amazing, and I appreciate
you,
the moon and back, for doing this with me today and connecting. And like, I love how we kind of like met through serendipitous ways. And I'm just like really
like Instagram. Like, I don't even know. We were on Instagram. I'm like, look at this girl. She's so awesome. And we started talking.
I found you through some way. Like, I really wish I could go back and find like this thing, because I know that I found you for a reason. It was somebody else had posted something and actually like tagged you in it and said thank you for something. And I was like, that's why I started following you. I just cannot remember who it was, but I remember seeing something. But I know that I got taken to you for a reason. So I'm just like super, super grateful for you. And like, you're just such a loving, amazing person. So I'm just really
thank you. And I am exactly 100% reflecting back to you. It's like, we were supposed to connect, and I love it, and I just adore you, and you're up for some amazing things, and I'm excited to be able to, like, watch you,
I'm excited to watch you too. I'm always there.
Yeah, that's right, girl.
Okay, so before we get like all creepy to these guys, we're just all like having a little love fest over here. I'm gonna end this off. We are gonna put links below. If you guys want a spiritual reading from Brandaleen, she would love to talk to you and open up your soul to all these amazing gifts that you have beneath, and just clear up, like she said, clear up what you got going on and all these layers of stuff that might have been overcasting your sunshine above. So yeah, we're going to put those links below. Is there anything you want to leave off saying something extra to them, or anything else you want to put in?
No, if you guys just have, questions, just reach out to me, Brandaleen Johnson, on Facebook, or at Brandaleen on Instagram. Follow along the crazy journey. And I guess the one thing I have to say is, like, you're the only one that's creating your life, and you absolutely have everything inside of you to have all of your dreams and desires come true. So if you don't like something about your life, that's your soul telling you to let go of what no longer serves you, and that there's so much amazing stuff. It's an amazing time to be aware of your human experience.
I know, right? All the nebulas.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, it was a pleasure today. I'm going to go ahead and press end here. But like I said, if anybody wants to reach out, we are here for you.
Awesome. Thanks, girl. I'll talk to you soon.